Hi there, and welcome to Millennial Meals. On this episode, I'll be frying up some egg rolls with some traditional fillings and one batch with 2 different cheeses and brisket. For ingredients, I used cabbage, onions, brisket, peanut oil, soy sauce, and sesame seed oil. For equipment, I used a cutting board, a knife, a burner with a skillet, a medium-sized bowl for the mixture, and a spatula. So generally, the filling for egg rolls is carrots, cabbage, and cooked pork. Now I deviated from this for a more customized cooking session, but to also try out a more smoky version of the treat where all the main ingredients have been smoked. Now when it comes to egg rolls, the most time-consuming part is prepping the filling. I had to cut up the ingredients and cook the vegetables to help them blend in with the other pieces of my mixture, but to also get any excess water out of them as well. There's some folks who boil their veggies or just cook the meat and throw them in with their veggies to be mixed before stuffing their rolls. In my cooking session, I opted for cutting up my smoked cabbage and onions to add an extra layer of flavor to the whole shebang, but to also make it easier to make the rolls and have a more blended filling. I decided to start with the cabbage as it was a large head and would take a bit of time to prep. I cooked it down until it was about a quarter of its original size and put a splash of sesame seed oil and soy sauce while it was cooking. One of the big things I learned about sesame seed oil, at least when it comes to egg rolls in my earlier sessions, is that if you put too much, it's going to definitely ruin the taste of the egg rolls. At least it'll have, I think the best way to put it, a very strong taste. And that might be too much for some folks. As the cabbage was cooking, I stirred from time to time to make sure nothing got burnt. While the cabbage was on the skillet, I went ahead and chopped up my other ingredients so that they would be ready for the spotlight later. When the cabbage got to the size I wanted, I put it in another holder to make room for my other ingredients. Now, this is where the cook time can be different for some folks due to their personal preferences and how they want their veggies cooked. In a separate bowl, I had my chopped onions and brisket mixed together, which I threw into my skillet to infuse the onions with some good flavors. The cook time was much shorter than the cabbage as my brisket was already fully cooked and the onions don't really hold that much water. In my original bowl, I put the cabbage in first, then added the last mixture of onions and brisket. I mixed them together till I felt that it looked evenly blended together. I washed my original skillet, then poured some peanut oil into it. Now for the fun part. I got out my egg roll wraps and placed them on the original cutting board that I used earlier. In a small container, I put some water to help seal the edges of my egg rolls. Some folks use a type of egg wash, but honestly, I was going to go with the quick and dirty route. With my area ready, I placed my egg roll down with the corners pointed to the flat sides of the cutting board. I then placed a couple of spoons worth of filling onto the wrap. With the filling in its place, I rubbed some water along the edges to make it easier for arguably the most important step, which is coming up next. With the edges ready, I grab the opposite corners of the wrap to meet each other as if it's hugging the filling, where I then grab the top to pull over in the middle and then slowly roll the wrap till I hit the bottom corner. With all my wraps ready, I started the easiest part, which was frying my egg rolls. I roughly fried each side of the egg roll till it was golden brown, or to make it simple, about 2.5 minutes per side. Eventually, I had a huge stack of smoky egg rolls. After some time stuffing my face with egg rolls, I thought, what if I just made a cheesy one? I saw a Philly cheesesteak version and I was like, wait, I still have a bunch of brisket, leftover stuffing, and cheese at the wazoo. So with that in mind, I had to make some cheesy egg rolls. For the first few egg rolls, I used the leftover filling from my previous session with shredded and sliced cheddar cheese. After running out of stuffing, I started to put shredded cheddar first, with brisket on that, then finishing it with a light spread of mozzarella cheese. With my filling in place, I would wet the edges of the wrap, grab the opposite corners to hug the filling, then grab the top corner and wrap it to the middle and then roll it till it hits the bottom corner. After I had my egg rolls assembled, I began frying them at about 2.5 minutes per side, or when they had a nice golden brown coloration to them. When everything was said and done, I had a bunch of smoky and cheesy egg rolls to munch upon for the days to come. Hopefully this will give you a bit of inspiration to make your own tasty egg rolls in the near future. Y'all stay safe and have a good one.